Okay, for your next projects, I'm once again going to um, want you to really get familiar with the tools in here. So I'm going to have you create a room, and I want there to be at least 20 pieces of furniture in this room. So I want you guys to really play around with the objects. Well, and they don't necessarily have to be furniture; they can be just objects. So if you create a table, that's one object. If you create a chair, that's an object. If you make a plate and a cup, those can be two more objects. If you make a pencil or a radio, whatever, those are all considered separate objects. I want you to create a room, have fun with it, get crazy with it. This is a room that you can have any budget for, so make it fun. You can add a swimming pool in the middle, or a jacuzzi, or disco ball, whatever you want to do. Right, but have some fun. I am requiring you to have at least two walls. Oh gosh, I hate this thing. At least two walls, and I want some sort of doorway and a window. Um, then I also want you to have some sort of light source. So the light could be coming from the window, but I also want a lamp or a light that also gives off, some sort of light as well. All right. I do want you to pay attention to the lighting. Make sure the pictures that you're taking of this room, where you can see everything and the lighting is okay. I also want 4 different pictures of the same room, but I want 4 different perspectives of the room, okay, for the actual assignment. So I did want to show you some more tools and some more things on here. There's quite a few things that we will learn, I'm sure. First off, I was going to show you, to make the room, you can do a couple things. You can either go in and make planes, and you can put the planes together, so maybe one for the floor and then 2 more for the walls and put them together. Or you can use a cube and delete some of the faces, and I'll show you how to do that. If you go into edit mode, I'm going to go into face select down here, and you can actually oh my goodness, this thing's popped up a couple times now. I'm going to right click on just the face, and I can actually hit delete, or X, actually the same thing, and it will ask me what do I want to delete. And right now I just want a face, so I'm going to delete the face. So there we go. It deletes just the face. All right, so I'm going to delete this face too. So I'm going to hit X this time just to show you that it's the same, and I'll delete that face as well. So there we go. Now we've got this pretty cool room, so that we can kind of see inside. Now the room is okay, but remember I needed a doorway and a window. So if you go in, I'm going to subdivide this once. No, sorry, I don't have anything selected, so it didn't subdivide anything. If you hit A, you can select all or deselect all. Okay, so A, I'm going to select the whole thing. And actually, no, I don't need to select the whole thing. I'm going to shift select just those 2. And you know what? Actually, let me turn on my my little mouse thingy there. Oh, no. Is it not in there? Oh. Alright. Well, I'll just tell you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. It's not in there. Alright. So I've got both of them selected with shift select. I'm going to subdivide all of those. So that now I've got more stuff going on there. You know what? I'm going to have to subdivide that some more because I want a nice window. I'm going to subdivide those again. So now I can maybe just delete this one. I'm going to delete the face so that I have a window. And then here's what else I can do. I'm going to go in and shift. I'm going to select these edges. Now I could, if I hit Alt, let's see what happens. I can loop select. See how it loop selects all that? Which is kind of nice. So I Alt right clicked on that and I selected that whole thing. That's kind of nice. And I can, I'm going to make this kind of a better windowsill kind of thing. So I'm going to hit E to extrude just the edges. Right? How's that? And then maybe, you know what I'll do? I'm going to E to extrude it again. But now I'm going to hit S. So I'm going to hit S and I'm going to make it small. Look at that. And then I'm going to just kind of click on that and scooch it in. So look at that. That's kind of neat, right? It could be a picture frame, or it could be a window, and then maybe I could extrude it again. Hit E to extrude, whatever. I'll just do it that way. It doesn't really matter. and then grab it and pull it that way. So now it's kind of this really cool, more 3D window, right? Kind of makes more sense that way. Right? I can do that with a doorway. I can do that with all kinds of stuff. All right, but that's kind of a nice way to make things look more than just like a hole somewhere. Okay, the other thing I can do, let's say I want to make a couch. All right, I can add, I'm going to add a cube. Oh, wow, that's really big. Well, it's because it's probably as big as that one, right? I'm going to hit S to size it. Just note, this is kind of a decent size, this panel right here. Sometimes we're really far out and we're making things and they're really huge. You want to kind of try to stay on this. So maybe even just for now, oh, I was in edit mode, Control Z. I'm going to get rid of that. I need to go back to object mode to add that couch. But before I do that, I am going to S size this so that it's kind of, if that's the room, I kind of want to keep that as the world, so to say. All right, so that's kind of a decent size there. I'm going to go ahead and add, so Shift A this time, a cube. And I'm going to turn this into a couch. Okay, now I need it a little bit smaller because that room, it's a big couch. Okay, I'm going to go into edit mode, so I'm going to tab into edit mode, right? And I want to subdivide it just a couple times. 1, 2, there you go. That's plenty. And I want to make it, you know what, I kind of want to extend it that way. You know what, I'm going to tab back out. I'm going to make this really long. I'm going to, let's see, that's the red arrow there, and that means it's X. So I'm going to size it on the X. There we go. There, that's going to be cooler. So I'm going to go back to edit mode. Oh, nice. Okay, great. So there's my my couch so far. I'm going to take, I want to go to face selection here. I'm going to take Shift, 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 and I'm going to delete these. This. Yeah, that'll work. So that's a little bit higher there for the chair part. And I'm going to hit X, and I want to delete the faces. So now I've got the face. See, notice that they're all kind of cut out. Now this isn't really going to work for a couch. Here's what I'll do. I will, I'm going to go to Edge Select here. I'm going to select that one, Shift Select, and I'm going to E to extrude it, right? And then I'm going to scooch it down, and scooch it over. So now I've kind of got that going. I can do it this way. That's okay, I guess. I guess that's okay. I could do it that way, and then I could do the same thing over here and extrude them down. But really, there's holes right here that that I kind of don't want. So let me show you what we can do about that. I'm going to scooch it out, and I'm going to create faces, which you can do. So I've got this edge, and shift this edge and this edge. Now I want to make that, I want to make a face right there. So all you have to do is hit F, oddly enough. And there you go. Now I've got this lovely face right there. And I'm going to use my vertices here, and I can select that and maybe move it a little bit, right? And I can start really creating this couch. Now I can also go over here, maybe, and shift select that one, shift select that one, and hit F. But if I don't want a triangle, I want it to make a square. Control Z. This is something else I can do. Remember how you can extrude vertices? I can right click on the vertex, and I kind of want to go over here. So and I'll hit E to extrude the vertex like that. Let's see, is it kind of in the right? Yeah, it's kind of in the right spot. All right. So now I have to hit edges. Now I can be in vertex selection when I do this, but I have to have at least 3 vertices selected. Shift. I have shift down. 3 or 4, whatever, to make a face. So I have to hit F, and there you go. So now I've got that face there, which is kind of nice. Okay, so as you can see, slowly but surely, I can start creating a pretty decent couch. I'm going to grab that. That's not cool right there. So, and maybe, what if I took this one, that vertex, and extruded that down? Right? It's not great, but I can then create faces this way. So I'm going to shift, select that vertex, that one, and I can hit F and make a face there. I can do that, right? And then maybe do the same thing, and that's not great. I have to move that back some, I think. There we go. Right, and then I could, you know, start making the squares going that way, right? And now I can start creating this couch, right? right? And remember Alt right click selects a loop. So sometimes I can select the whole loop and maybe say, you know what, no, I want that armrest to go out more. Ooh, that's kind of neat. Sometimes edge select is faster, and it is faster for this one, so shift this one and that one. I'm going to scooch it. Oh, I don't like that because I don't want that to be scooched. No, I got to go back to vertices here. I just want that vertex. I don't want that in the way of this. So shift, select those, and then scooch those back maybe. Or maybe I like it kind of like, you know, out a little bit. You can play around with the couch and you can play around with the objects that way. All right. Once you're done with all that, right, you can kind of, you know, make the couch, and then you can make a littler couch, and then so maybe you really like this couch, right? And this is a really cool couch. So now you want to make the love seat. So all you have to do is go into object mode. Shift D, remember how Shift D duplicates, left click to confirm, right? And now you can kind of change this a little bit. So maybe I can S to size it on the X, right? So S, X, again, and now I've got the little seat to go with it, right? Which is kind of cool. And rotate it. No, not that way. Let me go to, Now here's the problem I have. If I go to the top view, I've got this silly box in the way. You can actually hide objects. So I've got this object here. I'm going to hit H, and it will hide that object. The object, you can't see it anymore. All right, it's still there, but you just can't see it. Now, if you'll notice, this I haven't really talked about this right here yet. I haven't talked about that one either yet. But if you notice, this is a bit of an outline on all your stuff in here, and you're going to need to know this because you're going to get a lot of different things. These are all your objects. You can change the names of your objects. So if I'm here, this says cube 1, and this is going to say cube 2. Okay, but after a while, you're going to be like, which cube is that? What's going on here? You can go over here, and this is the number menu, remember N. You can go down here, and you can actually give the cube a name. So it's item. You click on it here, and you say this is small couch. What's that called? It's like a seat, couch seat, whatever. Okay, and there it is, small couch. All right, so this one is going to be couch, C-O-U-C-H, and there it is, okay? And there's the couch. All right, so now we've got all kinds of cool things. But if you notice, this is that first cube, right? And that could be the walls and whatever. But now there's a little eye here that shows that you can't see it. So if you click on it, it'll make it show up and not show up. And the shortcut, like I said, is H. And you can H and H. Oh, it's Alt-H to bring it back. H to hide it and Alt-H to bring it back. Okay, or you can come up here to the outline and click on the eye. Okay, if you click on the camera, it'll make it so that it shows up, but it won't show up when we render it. So when we take a picture of it, it won't show up. All right. Oh my goodness, this thing that pops up. Okay, so this helps you kind of keep track of what's going on. Now, right now, I do want that first cube, and I should name it probably. Let me name it really quick. Where'd it go? Cube. Oh, right now it's there. So I'm gonna put walls. Whatever. All right, so those are the walls, and that's fine. And I'm going to make it so that you can't see it. So now from the top, I think the top view is going to be the best here. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to rotate it this way. Okay, and now I'm going to have this cool chair, and it's too low there compared to that one. Whatever, I'm sure I'm going to have to fix it once I've moved them all, once I have everything else. Now maybe I want to create a table. Now the table might be a lot of fun. I could actually, I could add, let me do this. Here, I'll add a plane. From a plane, you can add all kinds of fun stuff too. All right. I can, let me, okay, I'm going to tab into edit mode. I'm going to extrude it. So I'm going to extrude it to make it a bit thicker so it's not that thin table. Right, and so now I've got this face down here. I want to subdivide just that face, or maybe I'll subdivide it once and twice. There we go. So now I can actually go in, face select. I'm going to right click on that one. I can, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to size it. I'm going to make it smaller. And then I'm going to extrude it. And I want to extrude it down directly. I don't want to extrude it all wonky. So see, that's the blue arrow, and that's the Z axis. Okay, so I hit E and then Z. Right, I always forget. Oh, that didn't work. E and then Z. Oh, it's already on the Z. Okay, well there you go. It's on the Z. So I make it go down, and maybe now I want to hit S again and make it get really small. So it's like kind of a fancier table. All right, that's kind of cool, right? Um, Again, I could do that to all the other ones as well. Okay, and then I've got this pretty cool table. Now, if you create a table and you have like little chairs that go on it or whatever, if you duplicate the chair and you don't change it, then I only count it as one object. Okay, I did talk about colors and whatnot, but I wanted to play around with textures a little bit more. Actually, no, and I'll show you some more things with color, with materials. I'm going to go back to object mode. I'm going to select the chair. If you hit new, I'm going to hit a new material. There's all kinds of other fun things you can do with this material. This used to be much more difficult in the past, but if you wanted to add transparency, you're going to click this on. Okay, sometimes it's closed like this, but there it is. And you can make it transparent. And again, you can't see this here, but you can see it down here. And it's just the alpha you change. So I'm going to click and drag it down, and notice, see how up here it makes it so that it's more or less transparent. Again, it's not going to show up now. It'll only show up later when you render it. If you want to make a really cool lamp, you could say, for example, add a mesh cylinder. Now, again, the cylinder is kind of a good one to start with all this because you want to know what the end caps, if it's going to be a triangle fan or if it's not going to have end caps, so it's just a tube. I don't want end caps right now. As soon as I move it, of course, that menu's gone, but it doesn't have end caps now. I'm going to tab into edit mode, and I want to just select that top ring. I want to make like a lampshade kind of thing. So I'm going to, edit. What? Let's go. Oh, I meant this. Okay. I want to Alt, select, no, not that, there, that. And I'm going to size it. So a little more lampy that way. Scooch it down. There, now I've got a cool lampshade, right? And I could create a cool lamp underneath it. You know, I can cut it and then start shaping it and whatnot. And then when I add a light to put inside of it, I could add, which we put? A spot. Let's put a spot. Oi, where'd it go? I think it just froze. Where is it? Cylinder lamp. Okay. We are going to add a lamp. I'm not going to add that one. I'm going to add a point lamp. Okay? So I'm going to take that lamp and I'm going to stick it right under the lampshade. Okay? And that should be casting a light down on there. Now, just to see what this looks like, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to make it so that the walls don't render either. So I just want to see what this looks like. I'm going to render. Oh, kind of cool. So I get the transparent couch, which is really weird. I can't see the... I'm going to hit escape. Oh, it works now. I am going to move the camera. So I'm going to hit 0 to see the camera perspective. I'm going to right-click on the camera and G to grab it. Let's see what that does. Render. Okay. So right now we've got the light coming out of there, and that's okay. We also have another light coming out of there, but you know what I'm going to do? That light isn't great. I'm going to hit escape. Oops, escape. Let me click on that light and see. I'm having trouble clicking on it. So, oh no, I've got it. I've got it selected. It's kind of nice. Sometimes you can select it through here as well. So that's the point light. If you'll notice, depending on what you have selected, this menu changes. So since I'm on a light, I'm going to click on that, and that I can play around with. I can give it more energy, make it brighter. I can click on this and change the color of the light. Well, let's not do blue. Let's do something goofy like pink. And then let's see what it looks like. Let me render it. So now it's got this pink light over everything. Right, and you can throw in different lights and different lamps, and maybe in here you can cut things out so that, you know, it has this cool light coming out of it. That can be fun too. Alright, so you can play around with the light as well. You can add stairs, you can add all kinds of fun stuff. I am going to show you a few examples of things that students have done in the past. And here we go, the room. And this is their 4 different perspective pictures of it, okay? So they played around with how transparent things are. They've also played around with And let me show you that one too. When we're talking these objects, oops, I'm still in that. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. If you play around with the material, oh, and notice this one doesn't have a material, so see it's like blank here, and this is scrolled down, so it's kind of weird, like, oh no, what happened to it? It's just because it's scrolled down. There, it's up there. I'm going to give it a new material, and again, that was the transparency, but there's also mirror, and that makes it reflective. Okay, and again, the reflectivity, so it makes it a little more like a mirror, right? So, and again, it won't show up until you render it, and now it's kind of mirrored, a little glassier. All right, so you can play around with that as well if you wish. Now, let me just show you some examples. These are different students' works. This is another different student, and they played around with textures, and they had the light come in through, see how they have the light coming in through the lamp and also through the window. So that's kind of nice too. It makes it a little more realistic. He added some fun stuff on the desk. Okay. And he also added a texture onto the picture, and that's how he made the picture. It's actually a texture. Oh my goodness, this. Okay, so the reason I want 4 separate pictures is I again want you to get really, really comfortable with that camera and how to move it and how to take the different pictures. I'll show you. I'll do that in just a minute. Okay, so just to show you some different ones that people have made. I like the pizza box in this one. And the little lights coming out of all those little lamps there. That's really neat. Okay, also, oh, and there's, all right. I'll show you some other tricks as well. Okay, oh, this one was fun too. Just to show you some different examples of what students have done. Oh, I like that one because of the CD. Alright. And there's a window. They actually added some more cool things to it. Remember, if you wanted to make things rounded. Right. So it's a bunch of different things you can do here. Alright. So when you're taking a picture, I'm going to go to 3D view this way. Remember, you go in here, you make sure that this goes to the right file, not the temporary. So you guys, for H for school, I'm going to put it on my desktop, accept, and then make sure this says JPEG, wherever that is, right here. All right, and then you hit F3, right, to take the picture. Oops, I missed. F3. What? Oh, I haven't rendered it. This is why. If you hit F3 there, that's what happens. Render it, and then you hit F3. Okay, and then you get the JPEG, and that says snowman, but it shouldn't say snowman. It should say room. Right, room. Okay, and save as image, and you should get the one picture. Then you're going to go back in here, move the camera, take a different picture of something else, and then you can play around with that. Now, some other things that I wanted to show you. In the materials, so for example, in this one here, I'm going to make that smaller there. If I want some of it to be this color and some of it to be another color, you can also do that. The object right now, this is the main material. If I go to edit mode, all right, let's say I want this face, this face, this face, and this face to be a different color. I can do that. So if I go in here and I add a material, okay, this is the second material. Now I can give it a material I've already have, that's fine, or I can give it a new material, that's fine. I'm just going to give it like blue, okay? And that's a second material. It is underneath this material. Now if I want, I'm going to select, I have these selected, and I'm going to assign that material to those faces. Okay, so now, if you'll notice, I've got some sections that are purple and the other sections that are this goofy metallic, whatever material too. All right, so I can actually color the different areas and whatnot throughout the one object. It can have several different colors. So I can add another color and say, whatever, pink. And so I say, okay, I want this to be that pink. And so I'll assign it. Oops, I was on the wrong. I'll assign it the pink. All right. So that's kind of nice. You can change the colors and whatnot within an object. So the object can have several different colors. For the pictures, for some of those things that had pictures, so I'm going to go into object mode. If you're going to give it a texture, it has to have a material first. So I'm going to give it a material. And I'm going to go to textures. I'm going to hit new. Now instead of clouds, that's that texture, I can hit clouds and I can get all these kind of cool fun things. I can also go to image or movie. If I hit image, and I can also put in a movie, how cool is that? And see, if I hit both, this is kind of nice because this shows the texture and this shows what it's going to look like on the object. And then I go down here to image and I hit open. So I'll go into my file, I'll go to my desktop, and I've got the goofy pictures. What do I have? I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's a picture of a room. And see how that shows up? So that's the texture. That's the texture that's going to show up on here. So I can actually put a picture onto there and it will show up when I render it. Okay, so let's see. Render. See how that shows a picture of, oh, that was my picture of my room. There you go. So you can actually put it on a plane and stick it on the wall and have a poster and stuff like that. So 20 different things. I want 4 different pictures, 4 different JPEG pictures of your room. Let's see, did I show you? I didn't show you all of these just yet. Right, that sideways one's really kind of goofy. But there you go. Okay, careful with the lighting. Sometimes the lighting is too bright and it kind of washes everything out and makes it difficult to see. So kind of pay attention to the light. I think that's the first one I showed you. So just a few examples of different rooms. And that's it.